Thank you, Efraín, for being here with us. And we are excited to learn about how Microsoft does apply advanced technologies to forecasting. We know that Microsoft is one of the most advanced companies in how you execute your forecasting capabilities in finance, and we are so happy to learn about it.
No, thank you. I would say that there are three things that are differential from the kind of technology that we use at Microsoft. The first one is forecasting, right? And for that, we use algorithms. And algorithms are very useful to exploit a lot of data, and we have a lot of data points because we invoice to a lot of customers, and we have on a monthly basis, right? So after a while, you have a lot of data to feed algorithms. So we do use machine learning for extrapolating and for making forecasts. And reality is that the accuracy is pretty good. So actually, we have halved our error between forecast and actuals in the last couple of years. And the big, I would say, gain, apart from this accuracy, is that people don't spend time on this, right? Which is, in the end, part of the financial journey per se. People liberating time to do more analysis and insights, right? So I would say that machine learning is a resounding success, and is one of these kind of cases, success cases, in which we apply our own technology to our own business, right? And I would say people, everything takes a learning curve, right? Because there is this, sometimes algorithms feel like a black box, and you have to take output from an algorithm that sometimes you don't understand how it does or how it operates. But after trial and error, and I would say almost a couple of years of usage, people are pretty confident with the algorithms and the machine learning forecast, right? So I would say that's one, and that's pretty clear. I would say the second one, it's a mixture of technology with process, which is, I would call it the democratization of data, right? You know that in many companies, financial data is owned by finance, and sometimes you receive multiple requests when you're a finance professional of data that are typically sitting in a dashboard or somewhere only finance has access to. So I think Microsoft solved this problem brilliantly because it has made available the information for all, right? There is I would say, profile management. Not everybody has access to everything, depending on function or location, for example. If you're in Spain, you cannot see data from Japan, right? But if you work in Spain, you will have access to all the financial data from Spain, right? And this democratization of information also creates a very nice, I would say, atmosphere in which finance is not a source of data, but of insight. Whenever someone needs data, they know where to get it, right? And they don't need to come to a finance professional to get it. So most of these dashboards are powered by Power BI. Mm-hmm. You just need to log into, you just need to ask around what dashboard has this question, right? And then just request permission to the owner, and then you have instant access. So I would say these two elements of technology I have not been there for 2 years, but when I speak to people who have been through the process, these probably have been two of the most transformational technologies we're using our day-to-day.
So you've mentioned very interestingly, people all the time. You've talked about technology, of course, data, algorithms, democratization, availability, dashboards. But you have talked about people. How has been the journey? How finance professionals, especially controllers, have lived that?
That's a very good question. There are some scholars, right, that they say that all management is change management, right? Right now, things change so fast that actually every single management action is directed towards change, right? And this was the case as well with these two technologies. So there is a cultural element because, let me give you one simple example. When people were asking the finance professional about financial data, it was a hassle because sometimes you were getting 20 requests a day. But it also gave you authority, right? So the fact that you were the gatekeeper of this information was also giving you some attraction power, if you want. So people needed to ask you things, right? And you were the one knowing them.
The master of the key.
The master of the key. Now you're not the master of the key anymore, so you need to be the master of something else, right? That could be insights, could be recommendations, could be analysis. So I would say this element of the cultural change requires a lot of flexibility from people and also to reinterpret what the role is, right? It's very easy to say we want to go from transaction to insight, but that bridge is not that easy, especially for some people who are less skilled at that, right? I would say the second element that is also requires a cultural transformation in the case, for example, of the machine learning algorithms is trust, right? If you only trust what you do, which is something that we typically, done by me is better, right? Some people believe this. Then, of course, you are going to feel threatened when an algorithm or a mathematical calculation is giving you your forecast. And there is also a second element on losing the grip of the forecast, which is some organizations, and I include myself into that, we were using the forecast discussion as an anchor to discuss some business topics, right? Yeah. If the forecast is coming directly from a mathematical calculation, you need to recreate those environments somewhere else. So I would say, with these couple of examples, I'm trying to depict that the change required to get the goodies of these technologies are sometimes are very profound, and that a lot of effort has to be put so people do not sabotage those efforts, right? And they feel that this helps them.
In your view, well, what you are sharing with us is a very engaging journey, but I can think some people might felt not only threatened, but unable to do that. Which are the dynamics that could be put in place to help those people to really get upskilled, to get onto the train?
Yes. I would say that's a very relevant question because we tend to believe upskilling is about technical upskilling, right? And there is a component of that, getting to know how to use the dashboards and the technology behind it. But it's as important to understand that you will require to learn new skills. For example, you need to get better at situational leadership. You need to map better what are the incentives in the network, right? You are not a gatekeeper anymore, so how are you going to bring these topics on the table? You need to master social influence. You need to master change management, right? And I believe that there is a component of the content of the upskilling that sometimes overweights on the technical aspect of the change, but it doesn't pay attention to this expression, I hate that, these soft skills. They are not soft at all, right?
No.
Probably right now and in the future, they are going to get as hard as it gets, right? So there is this component. And the second element is the delivery of the upskilling. So it's very normal that most training and upskillings are passive, so there is some content that nowadays sometimes is multimedia, interactive, videos. But what we are learning as well, and there is a lot of literature behind it, is that the personal or the team interaction in the process of learning is very important. So we need to get used to have discussions, deliberations, adversarial reviews, debates, postmortems, anything that helps you discussing and seeing other people discuss topics might help change your beliefs, right? So it's always, I would say, whenever there is a technology, there has to be a people technology or a technical technology being implemented. You need a people technology to complement it. This is, to me, a big insight of not only my professional experience, but also my academic life.